Chapter 1. Salt water in his veins. It is dour. It freezes hard. It is difficult to navigate when the ice crowds down, and it punishes those who miscalculate its power. But it also teems with a rich animal life and rewards good hunters and fishermen enormously. James Michener on the Bering Sea in his novel, Alaska. His name is on the lips of every man who has ever sailed north of the Aleutian Islands. But if Vitus Jonasson Bering's name had not been affixed to the Bering Sea, his role nearly 3 centuries ago in exploring the then uncharted body of water would by now have been long forgotten. Bering was a Danish-born sea captain who sailed under the Russian flag. It might seem strange that a foreigner would be given such a central role in the Russian Navy, but it wasn't that unusual in an era when the Russian Tsar, Peter the Great, was always on the lookout for exceptional sailors. He wasn't concerned with their nationality, only their ability to help maintain his country's sea power. Born in 1681 in Horsens, Jutland, the part of Denmark that connects it to the European continent, Bering took to the seas at the age of 15. In the next 7 years, he sailed widely, reaching both the Danish East and West Indies. He was looking for new horizons by age 22, and he found them through Cornelius Cruise, a Norwegian who had become a vice admiral in the Russian Navy and was, like Peter the Great, constantly in search of new nautical talent. Bering boarded his first Russian ship in 1703 and went on to distinguish himself in both the Great Northern War against Sweden and the Russo-Turkish War. His military successes earned Bering the opportunity to take part in one of the great adventures of his age. Back then, much of the world, including Russia, didn't know if Asia and North America were separate continents or if they were connected by a land bridge. In 1725, Bering led an expedition to learn the answer, while also searching for a northeast passage to China and exploring the possibilities for Russian trade and colonization in North America. He returned in 1730 to report that Asia and North America were indeed separated by a body of water, one that would later bear his name. 3 years later, Bering departed again on what became known as the Great Nordic Expedition, leading a group of as many as 10,000 on a journey that would last a decade, although he himself would not live to see the end of it. In the summer of 1741, commanding his ship, the St. Peter, but separated by a storm from a sister ship, the St. Paul, Bering reached the coast of Alaska. On July 20th, Georg Wilhelm Steller, a German naturalist, became the first European to set foot in Alaska when the St. Peter stopped at Kayak Island east of Prince William Sound in the Gulf of Alaska. He didn't get to stay long. Fearful of being stranded when winter arrived, Bering ordered Steller back to the ship and kept sailing, first north to the Alaska Peninsula, then west, past the Aleutian Islands. But despite his caution, Bering never made it back home. He was shipwrecked on an island just short of his destination, Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. Suffering from starvation and scurvy, he died there along with 28 crew members in December 1741. But Bering will not soon be forgotten because so much of the area, the Bering Sea, the Bering Strait, the Bering Land Bridge, and Bering Island, where he died, bears his name, a tribute to the man who reached Alaska decades before the United States even existed. Over the centuries, many sea captains, Russian and American, have followed in his wake, venturing into the Bering Sea's treacherous waters and handing down the region's seafaring traditions from generation to generation. For Grant Harris, though, there was no such family tradition, no notable lineage or treasured fishing lore. He didn't inherit a legacy, but he would certainly pass one on. Grant, born in Seattle in 1933, never met his father. His parents were divorced, and his father departed before he was born. Grant couldn't even claim his love of the sea was in his genes, since his father was a steel worker. And even though he grew up in Seattle,